When I returned home, I noticed a pile of plastic carrier bags stacked outside our front door and wondered what they were doing there. I rang the doorbell and, as usual, Mortimer answered. "Take all your things. They're all in those bags out there. Your Uncle Sai will take you to your parents. You have to go and live with them now." I laughed, thinking Mortimer was playing a funny joke on me. She slammed the door shut. Not being able to take what she'd just said seriously, I said, "Come on, Mortimer, what are you saying? That's not funny. Let me in." Mortimer would never do that to me. "Sai, where are you? Take her to her mother's, now." Mortimer's voice came from behind the closed door. "Mortimer, at least let me come in and tell me what I'm supposed to have done," I said. "No, there's nothing to talk about. I've looked after you long enough. Now it's up to you and your parents." She replied with a steely resolve. "Sai, what's taking you so long? Hurry up and take her." She shouted at my Uncle Sai, who must have been inside the house. I knocked on the door again, my stomach ringing with rising panic. "Mortimer, you can't be serious. You can't just tell me to go immediately like this. At least explain to me what I've done wrong and give me a chance to put it right. Mortimer, please," I begged. I pleaded. But it was no use. Neither would she open the door, nor would she explain my crime. I waited on the doorstep, panic turning to fear and filling every part of my being, shaken and sobbing with shock. My worst nightmare was coming true. I was being thrown out, rejected. I was not wanted. And I had nowhere to go. Except, that is, to the place that was my last resort, to my parents. "Mortimer, what are you doing? What's going on? Let's just talk about this," I heard Uncle Sai say from the other side of the door. "Just do as I say," I heard Mortimer react. She sounded adamant. "But Mortimer, I don't understand," I heard Uncle Sai begin to question. "Didn't you hear what I just said? Go, now," Mortimer roared. Uncle Sai opened the door to come out. It was futile to argue with Mortimer when she was in this mood. I tried to push through the door and go in while he was coming out. I still could not accept that Mortimer was really doing this, that she was really serious. Maybe she just wanted to teach me a lesson, and she knew that this would shake me up. Maybe this time I'd pushed her inadvertently too far with something I'd said, and clearly she was in a rage, but I was certain that I could fix it. I always did. After all, I'd never actually been rude to her. At least, not as far as I could tell, and certainly not outright intentionally. It's true that I challenged her at times, but then I challenged everybody. That was just the nature of being a teenager, wasn't it? It was what we did. Still, she refused to give way, barricading the door from the inside with all her might. I was now hysterical. It was just after 5 o'clock on a September evening, and people were starting to pass by on their way home from work. "Come on, let me take you home," Uncle Sai said, softly. "This is my home," I replied through my torment. "I'm not going anywhere." I rooted myself at the doorstep, refusing to leave. Uncle Sai sighed, then knocked on the door and shouted, "Mortimer, come on, this is silly. Let her back in." "Why haven't you left yet?" came the sharp response from the other side. "Do I have to throw you out as well, Sai?" I knocked again and again, calling out, "Mortimer, I'm sorry. Whatever I'm supposed to have done, I promise I won't do it again. Please, let me back in." Uncle Sai went to the car and got in, waiting for me to get in too. I stayed at the doorstep. For a while, he came back out and sat down beside me on the doorstep. "Come on, Mita," he said softly. "Let me take you to your parents. You can always come back when Mortimer's in a better mood." What have I done, though? I don't understand. I just don't understand. Can't she at least explain to me so that I know where I went wrong? I said through my sobs. I'm sure she will, when she's calmer, he replied. In the meantime, you must not take to heart anything she says or does when she's in a bad mood. It's probably not even anything to do with you. He put his arm around me to console me. I would always appreciate my uncle's kindness as we sat on the doorstep of the house that I had come to know as home. In those turbulent moments that would come to shape the person that I would become, his gentleness and affection were droplets of a soothing balm on bleeding burns. He sat with me in silence on the doorstep until I was ready to move on. I cannot say how long it was when I finally accepted that Mortimer was perfectly serious. Because she'd raised me this far, to my teenager's mind it seemed like she was finally washing her hands off me, that she no longer wanted to look after me. I was on my own. Or I might as well have been, since that's how living with my parents felt to me.